Hello everyone, I'm Charlie and this is episode 11, part 1 of Charlie's Reviews. So, this episode I will be reviewing the books I got last week. So, that would be the last week of September, which also ends the whole Futures End tie-in 3D cover books. You might also notice that it's a bit dark, and that's because it's very cloudy. Uh, it's today. It's been actually kind of cloudy. Um, Sort of like the past few days. We got some sunshine, then it gets cloudy. Um, so sorry about that, and I didn't really wanna add more light because it looks weird. So let's go on. Let's move on to the reviews. So in this part of the reviews, I will be reviewing uh, two books. I got five books this week, and I'll start with two, um, two, two, and which will be my independent books. Also, my top reads of the week, and in part two, I'll do the DC stuff. So first up, we got Ghost number 8. Um, this issue ends the second arc of the series and Chrysibella's first arc um, as solo writer. And I gotta say, uh, if you drop this book, you are missing some a really great book because it can be read in different levels. You got your typical, maybe somewhat typical superhero stuff, but this book sort of walks the edge between supernatural and superhero, I guess. But it also covers a big theme, and this arc actually had a very big theme, which was identity, and Ghost trying to figure out, you know, her place in the world. At the same time, she has to deal with the more, mundane stuff, or the more heroic stuff. She's got two enemies that are coming at her on two different fronts, so she has to deal with them, while at the same time trying to figure herself out. This issue, it's almost a clean ending for at least the main for the two big things, but it also sets up stuff the for upcoming issues. Um, so she actually defeats Van Ghastly, who was or who is a late night TV show host who has this ability to sort of see to the various dimensions. So he is in tune with a bunch of hell dimensions, and he's been trying to open them. Um, the fact that he's so attuned to stuff, to the whole reality, uh, also gives him an advantage in that he can defeat Ghost when she's intangible, like it happened earlier, I think in the first in issue 5. So she's actually able to defeat Van Ghastly, who wanted to use Ghost as a sort of key to open the door to those other hell dimensions. The fact that she was brought back seems to point out that um, she opened, or a door was opened to this hell dimensions. So she is a key to his plan to open said doors. On the other hand, you have the hunter who was hired by a group of mysterious people who were interested in getting that box that brought her back from from her death. Um, and because Hunter sort of followed Ghost, you know, to the whole encounter with Von Ghastly sort of get distracted by the Hunter's presence. So that sort of helps Ghost defeat, sort of partially defeat him and defeat Hunter. She just basically disables him. Uh, so when so at the heat of the battle between her and Von Ghastly, she ends up realizing, there's a big revelation for us and for her, where she finally decides to embrace who she is. She realized that she couldn't be who she was before she died, because that was long gone, and she never really connected with that part of her of herself, that former life. That's what issue 5 tried to do, actually, when she took the job as a reporter, was to see if she can actually grasp some of that humanity that seemed lost. But she's also, you know, expected to be something. The Of course, the villains see her in different ways. Like I said, Van Gassy sees her as a means to achieving his goals. The hunters saw her as a kindred spirit, and of course her friends see her as something else. So she finally decides to embrace the truth about herself, and the fact that when she returned, something else actually returned. She's somebody else, she's someone else. And we get this really great panel as she comes to embrace that, and that sort of gave her the chance to defeat Von Ghastly. And of course, Hunter gets up, tries to fight her, but she's able to defeat him. And again, we get this look of her, this really sort of darker image of her. So she defeats the Hunter, and she goes on with him and confronts the people that hired him to get the box. She actually destroys the box, while telling them, to sort of back off, leave her alone. We learn that Von Ghastly ended up in some sort of a hell, and the issue actually ends with her turning back to where they're living, the apartment where they're living now, where she's living with her friends, Tommy, Ivana, and Sloan. And we learn that she actually remembers everything, but that's the most threatening thing of this whole issue, is that whatever she learned, it wasn't anything good. What she remembered, because she says she remembers everything, is rather disturbing, and she just looks, freaked out. So next issue is the beginning of a new arc, and yeah, um, more setup. We're gonna learn more about about Elisa, what happened to her, what she remembers. There's a lot of setup going on here now because there's a new set of problems, personal problems that she has to deal with. So I really enjoyed this issue. I mean, this is a great series. I mean, it's not exactly what you expect. It still has that supernatural element to it. And the character herself is somewhat, now a super has, herself is somewhat now perhaps half demon. I mean, I mean, she becomes something really frightful. Um, she embraced that darker nature that she didn't want to, and is ready to show it to the world. So I mean, there is really, you know, definitely an amazing series. For me, I'm loving it. Next up is Rachel Rising number 28. Um, as always, it's a really hard issue. It's a really hard series to review because there's just so much stuff going on in the series, and I picked this up late, so I am missing. There are a few things that I'm missing from the earlier stuff, but basically, um, the story continues in which they're trying to discover this sort of serial killer, but uh, it does play into some stuff that was shown, some issues ago. There is definitely something killing people, but it seems to be a much darker force involved, not just a human element, though it does use the human element, but it's sort of like a sinister force, I guess, because the story, this issue sort of framed with this sort of dog who has been attacked by a wolf, and it turns out that the this dog actually killed a wolf instead of the wolf killing the dog. And I mean, look at that, man. The dog is just scared because there is something sinister hunting that town where Rachel lives, and it has at least attacked somebody she knows. uh you know a man was killed by his wife. uh Someone who they actually loved each other, then suddenly she goes all psycho and kills him. uh Apparently these deaths you know end up having a thread which is like a suicide note that isn't exactly alike. So really great story. I mean, the art tells as much of the story as the words. So I don't know, take it. So yeah, Mike, I have nothing else to say about it because I don't think I do it justice. So anyways, that's part one. So in part two, I will do the DC books I got. And please leave comments, questions. Tell me what you think of the new format. Should I keep doing this as a two-part video, or do you want me to do the extra long stuff that I've been doing? So I'll see you in part two.